Welcome back to Frugal Hannah, the channel where we have no money and we learn what to do with that lack of income. I'm Hannah, here to talk to you today about something that I am very passionate about educating on. Today we are going to talk about the elusive credit card. If you are anything within the target audience that I created this channel for, you either have never had a credit card before and you don't know how they work, you have had a lot of information bombarding you about why credit cards are bad and they're from hell and that you're going to go into crippling debt because of them, or you've already gotten into that crippling debt and you don't know what to do about it. So today we're just going to talk about the basics of a credit card, what it does, what it's for, and what the use of a credit card opens you up to. So to start off, let's talk about what a credit card actually is, the very fundamental of what it is and what it does. A credit card is a lot like a debit card that you might have, but whereas your debit card links to the money that you currently have in your possession in your bank account that the debit card is linked to, a credit card is linked to a loan amount that you can borrow from wherever they will take a card. There's no pin attached, you just swipe it, put the numbers in online, and you can borrow money from whatever that lump sum credit limit allotted to you is. That's incredibly tantalizing to me, to just have money that I can draw from whenever I want to. There are a lot of catches, caveats, and pitfalls that you can encounter while using a credit card. As I mentioned before, a credit card comes with a pre-existing credit limit. If you've never borrowed money before, if you don't have any credit history, but you somehow managed to qualify for a credit card, you're probably going to start with a pretty low credit balance. One of my cards started off with a $500 limit, not a lot of money, but that is so the lender can test essentially how you borrow money from them. If you're just going to max that card out immediately, at least they're only out $500, because what if you're not good to pay back the money? Credit cards start off with a credit limit. So maybe you've brought home your shiny new credit card, you pulled it out of the mail with your brand new $500 credit limit, and you go out and you spend $150 at the mall on bath bombs, and you got new pants, and you got a new jacket. Okay, so you've spent 150 some odd dollars. What happens now? The short answer is that you borrowed that money, so now you're responsible for paying it back. Now that everything is electronic, I have an app for every single one of my credit cards that I can just log in and see. After a few days, the charges that I put onto my credit card will pop up. And sometimes it really does take a few days for those charges to show up. So, for this example, let's say you got your credit card on the 17th of the month. 17th. We can remember that number. Now it's the 21st and all of your charges from the mall show up. So you see that you have a current balance out of your $500 credit limit of $150 in your statement. As of the 17th, you have started a clock for approximately 30 days, 31 days, until the 17th of the next month when you will receive your statement. So let's say you got your credit card the 17th of March. Now it is the 17th of April, and you have a statement totaling $150 from that one mall trip that you took on the 21st of last month. As of April 17th, you have until May 17th to pay back that $150, or you can opt to pay at least the minimum fee, which is $35, give or take a couple of dollars, of that $150. And that is the tantalizing part of a credit card. You can pay off whatever charge you put on there essentially forever, only being responsible for $35 at a time, as opposed to $150 all up front. How frequently you make payments on that $150 and how much of that $150 you pay back over the next 30 days determines your credit score. What is a credit score? A credit score is a scale going from 300 to 850 that tells lenders how good you are with the money that they let you borrow. Generally speaking, a score over 700 is good, and a score over 800 is excellent. Of course, you want to aim for that 800 and above, but there are a couple of factors that play into your credit score as a whole. So going back to that $150 that you have paid out of your $500 limit card, spending $150 doesn't seem like a lot of money. And really, ultimately, $150 isn't too much. But with a limit of $500, that might be a little bit high to be spending on that card. And here's why. So with a card that has a $500 limit, spending $150 out of that card is probably the maximum that you want to be spending on that card until the credit limit is raised, if that ever happens. When you use a credit card, lenders want to see that you're good at borrowing money, but they never really want to see that money gone for a very long time. They don't want to see it in your hands, they want it to be in their hands. Makes sense. You want to avoid maxing it out. If you take that credit card out and you immediately spend all $500, credit lenders might see you as a risk because you don't know what to do when 500 free dollars are suddenly thrust into your hand. Are you just going to squander all of the money every time that they raise your limit? They don't know. Credit lenders want to see you using approximately 30% or less of that credit limit to really qualify you as a good borrower. 150 happens to be 30% of 500. So if in the course of that month, March 17th to April 17th, you've only spent that $150, your credit score is probably going to go up a fair amount, especially if you pay it off in that allotment between April 17th and May 17th. If I could recommend any advice with borrowing using a credit card, keep your payments low and always pay off your card in full when your statement balance is due. Your minimum payment on your statement balance is probably going to run somewhere around $35 a month. The concept of that was insane to me when I first got a credit card, that I could rack up $150 of bills and only have to pay $35 of it back. That sounds like a scam. Every credit card will let you do that. Here is the fine print. When you borrow that money and you don't pay off your statement balance in full, you begin accruing interest as soon as the due date passes. So, to continue with our example, March 17th, you open the card. You spend $150. By April 17th, you have a $150 statement. From April 17th to May 17th, you have approximately 30 days to pay off that $150. So essentially, you've been given almost 2 months to pay this money back at this point. Keep that in mind. If you only spend $35 on that, you will be accruing interest on the remaining $115. And credit card interest runs pretty high. It's an average of about, I would say, 26%, 20 to 26%. And your credit interest rate can change. If you forget to pay that monthly payment, that minimum payment, don't even think that anyone will think you're trustworthy for a long time. So the good thing about that $35-ish minimum monthly payment is there is an incentive to pay off the rest of that before the end of the month. I don't want to incur interest. I can't speak for you. Maybe you're fine with that. Interest on a credit card is spending money for already having spent money. It's a punishment for the money that you've already spent. So when you use a credit card, I would use extreme caution. Only spend what you know that you can pay off and use it as a tool for building your credit rather than an emergency fund. It is not an emergency fund. Don't fall back on your credit card because you might be making $35 monthly payments, but you're going to be accruing interest on that until you pay off the entire balance. And that could go on for a long time because then you're paying interest on interest. So in general, be careful with your credit cards. The last thing that you have access to, the last basic thing that you can access with a credit card is a cash advance. I have no experience with a cash advance personally because it doesn't seem like a good idea in any instance. A cash advance is usually an allotment out of your credit limit. So say you have that $500 credit limit, maybe your cash advance limit is $200 of that. You can set a PIN, go to an ATM, and take out $200 in cash that you can spend right now. However, unlike using your credit card, a cash advance begins accruing interest immediately. The moment you pull it out of the ATM, you're incurring interest over the course of until you pay it off. It might be a loan that works in a pinch, but to me, there's too much risk in that. I don't want to spend money and then immediately be penalized for spending that money. I would rather save up what I have and pay for it later. If you need that money in a pinch, at least swipe the card, give yourself 30 days grace period. I wouldn't advise using a cash advance. So with that, we have covered the basic aspects of having and using a credit card. Was there anything that I missed? Was there anything that I completely misinformed you on? Let me know below. Subscribe to my channel. Check out my playlist for beginner, advanced, and intermediate steps that you can take to improve your financial health and well-being overall. Let me know what else you're interested in seeing. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for stopping by.